Hello to all my people around the world. I hope everybody's having a good day. My name is Ovidio Garcia, and today I will be talking about my diet. I've been receiving a lot of messages about people being interested in my diet, how I can only sleep so little hours a day, remain with a lot of energy, be able to think. So I'm gonna go into details and what I consume throughout my day and how I discipline my diet, even though I have long days where I have to work. Sometimes I don't sleep, sometimes I do sleep. So I'm gonna explain to you what I use, what I consume to help me throughout my day. First of all, I'm vegan. I practice eating just fruits, vegetables, and seeds. I try to stay away from processed stuff. So mostly everything I consume is raw. I buy it raw. I buy raw fruits. I buy raw vegetables. If there's a sale at the store or something, I buy a large quantity of it. I clean it, cut it up, and freeze it. I don't buy nothing frozen because the frozen stuff's already been processed. It's already been heated to give it a life. So I stay away from anything that's been touched by a man. So I try to keep it at the most raw stage as possible. Now, what I do, mostly my diet consists about 80 to 90% being a liquid diet throughout the year. I consume a lot of smoothies, homemade smoothies that I make. It's very rare that I buy anything out in public. So I make my own homemade smoothies raw and my own juices that I use to balance out my protein, my carbs, my healthy fats, all that kind of stuff, my fatty acids, everything that I need, my omegas, everything that I need, I mix inside of a blender. So what I start off with, I use a lot of celery because celery I use it to clean up my system. I use cucumbers, cilantro. I'm a big fan of cilantro. I like cilantro a lot. Beets, spinach. These are my main fruits main vegetables that I use. I clean them up, chop them up, put them in a blender. Now I have a sweet tooth, so I like a lot of sweet things. That's just me. That's my nature. So for fruits, I use pineapple, oranges, papaya, raspberries, blueberries. Those are like my main fruits that I use because I have a sweet tooth, so I put a little bit more of the sweet than the sour, which is the fruits. They're not sour, but I'm just saying the sweet part. And a lot of people say, well, it's not good for you if you put too much sweet stuff and this and that. All right, you have to understand that your body knows how to process natural sugars that come from a fruit. Now, the man-made sugars, your body does not know how to process that correctly because that's something that's man-made, and that's where a lot of these diseases are started from and sicknesses are started from. But your body knows how to process natural sugars in its raw stage of form. I'm not going to get too much into details because I'm not an expert in it, but I know about what have I studied that your body can process natural sugars. So I put all that in a blender, I add some water, and I mix it up. I usually do about a half a gallon. So I drink anywhere between a half a gallon to a gallon of worth of smoothies throughout the day. Now people ask me where do I get my protein from? I usually get my protein from a lot of seeds. I do raw almonds, raw sunflower seeds, raw peanuts, raw cashews, raw pumpkin seeds. I buy these by the pound and I get a portion of each one and I throw it inside the blender, and that's how I make my smoothie. That I get all my carbs, I get my protein, anything else. Sometimes if I'm feeling hungry, depending on the day, how much of a workout I did, I can throw in a half of avocado or throw some coconut meat inside of there. But everything is raw. I also can freeze it, So when I buy a box of coconuts, or I buy depending on the avocado, the season, I buy a large quantity of them. I buy a box, just clean them up, and then I'll cut them in half, and I use half a portion for my smoothies. Now, for my juicing, I usually juice the same things that I juice for my smoothies. I do celery because celery has a lot of juice. So celery on the vegetable side, celery It fills up the gallon really quick. Cucumbers have a lot of juice. I do maybe just one little batch of cilantro because I like cilantro. I also do beets, maybe just 2 or 3 beets, just to give it that color, the red, which is just something just that I like to do. And mainly what I use for my vegetables on that side. Don't do spinach. The spinach doesn't give out too much juice on when you're juicing it. So I don't do too much of that. So I stick to vegetables that throw out a lot of juice because the fact that I don't want to be there forever because my time is very, very sensitive. I don't want to spend too much time juicing something that's not going to give you too much juice at the end. Fruits. I do a lot of fruits because I like sweet stuff. So I do oranges. I do oranges a lot. Pineapple gives out a lot of juice. Sometimes it gets caught up in it's because the pulp gets caught up. Apples give out juice as well. Papaya. I do papaya as well when I juice it. So those are what I mainly use for the sweet side of the juice. I don't do any seeds because obviously seeds, I've never juiced them. I don't even know if you can, but I never do that. Now I do make my own milk, my own almond milk and cashew milk. That I soak my almonds or cashews overnight, and I still do that raw. I drink raw almond milk and raw cashew milk because I buy them raw. I soak them. I put them in a blender. I add water. I use raw agave to keep it raw, or raw cane sugar if I use cane sugar, and raw salt. So that's what I do. Just a little bit of salt and also cinnamon. I just want to give it a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of spice. Use I don't know if it's considered raw or not, but I use dried cinnamon sticks. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I don't use it. Just very rarely. Just depends. But I mostly just stick to the almonds, cashews, the agave, the salt, and that's what I use for my milk. Now, as how I drink throughout the day, it depends on how active I've been. In the morning, how difficult my workout was, and towards the end of the night, about 6 p.m. is my cutoff time. After 6 p.m., I don't eat anything. Even if I'm hungry, I don't. Even if I'm doing smoothies, I don't. After 6 p.m. is my cutoff time. I only drink water after 6 p.m. Throughout the day, it's all I consume is water. It's very rare that I drink anything that's not water or it's not made that I make on my own. So it's very, very rare. So I only stick to drinking water. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So I don't consume or do anything that's going to pollute my body. So I keep a very strict discipline. So I don't do any of those kind of activities. Now, when I feel like I'm going to get sick because I don't consume any medicines, I don't take any vitamins. All my vitamins, all my food, everything that I need as for my medicine comes from my food. So if I feel like I am going to start getting sick, because I can feel when a virus is inside of me, if I have the cold or flu, which is very rare, maybe every 4 or 5 years, I might catch a cold or something. It's very rare that I get sick, even when I'm around people, because I do a lot of the blueberries and raspberries and the oranges and the pineapple to keep my immune system very strong. I'll do sauna. After the sauna, since I lose a lot of fluids, I'll drink raw coconut water or watermelon. I advise that for people who do a lot of activities out in the summer. Buy your watermelon, buy you some raw coconuts, the young ones, the young Thai coconuts. You can use the meat if you want to put in the blender, get the juice, get the watermelon, put it in the blender, mix it up. That is a perfect mixture of juices that can rehydrate you naturally, that will help you get back those fluids that you've wasted. It will help you out so much. So I do use a lot of coconut water and a lot of watermelon water in the summertime, especially in the summertime where I live. It gets very hot, very humid. You do any outdoor activities, you're going to be sweating, so you're going to be losing a lot of fluids that you need to rehydrate back again. So that's what I do for my diet. And the reason why I started that, I started off being a vegetarian. If you decide to go embark in a vegan discipline, I started off vegetarian. I was still eating like breads. I was eating cheese and milk and eggs. And then my transition was into being vegan, and that wasn't difficult, the transition, because I was already not eating no more meats. So the transition to being vegan was very easy. It wasn't not difficult. So I did vegetarian for a couple of years, and then I went to vegan, and then once vegan, that's it. I mean, that completely changed my life on how I saw things. One of the reasons why I do a lot of raw fruits and vegetables, because I'm a living organism. I'm a living human being. And how I got a personal revelation is when I saw, or I was eating a piece of meat. I was eating something that was alive and now it's dead. And I'm consuming something dead and putting something dead inside my body. That's the self-revelation I had. And I was like, you know what? That doesn't go right with me. So that's the reason why I switched to being a vegetarian. Then after vegetarian, I went to vegan. So when I do a vegan diet, now I saw that I'm consuming living organisms. I'm alive, so I'm consuming something that's alive, and it goes inside my body, and I'm alive. And if you look it up, do your own research. Don't take my word. Do your own research on people who are raw vegans. Even the color of their skin changes. I mean, they have the energy. You get these natural ecstasies because you're consuming just raw ingredients. Your body is alive. You're consuming something that's alive. So yeah, I mean, there are natural effects that happen from consuming natural substances. So look it up. Don't take my word. Do your own research. Don't do it because I'm saying. Do your own research and you come to your own conclusion. So if you have any other questions, comments, or ideas, I ask that you please share my information. If you want more details of my diet, because I've been receiving messages throughout my social media platforms asking me, how do I do my diets? Why do I have energy? How can I sleep so little and still be awake? And people be like, well, it's not healthy, this and that, because you don't sleep. Well, that's your body. That's why I said you got to do your own research. I can't tell you what's going to work for you. I'm just giving you ideas on what works for me, and that you can use and improvise and do your own diet. I don't know, but everybody has a different body. So if you find my information useful, please share, and I hope everybody has a nice day.